everyone, my name is Heather Rennick. I'm a registered dietitian with Lakeland Health. Today, I'm going to show you how to make refrigerator pickles. So the first thing we have to do is slice up your cucumber. One thing to keep in mind is that you'll want to make sure that you do slice the blossom end off, which is the side that is opposite from the stem end. And the reason that we want to make sure that we do cut that end off is because there is an enzyme located in the blossom end that can make your pickles a little mushy. And we want them crisp, so we're going to make sure we remove that. And then just proceed to slice them. The next thing we're going to do is to chop up some dill. So to do that, I'm just going to rip off the tougher ends of the stems. Then I'm going to stack them. And then just start chopping. You can see that hasn't really chopped it up finely enough. So what we're going to do is just scrape it into a pile, put our hand on top of our knife, and just start chopping. And it starts moving around on us, so we're going to make it into a pile again and just keep doing what we're doing until it is as fine as we want it. Keep in mind that we don't want to hold our knife like this, because that puts the tips of our fingers at risk. You could slip and easily slice them. So keep your hand like this. Okay. So now we're going to prepare the brine to go in with the cucumbers. What I have in here is 1.5 cups of water. And what I'm adding now is 1.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. And 2 tablespoons of salt. And this brine is going to be enough for 3 pints of refrigerator pickles. So now we're just going to put this on heat until the salt is dissolved. While we're waiting for the salt to dissolve in the brine, we're going to go ahead and add the spices to each of the jars. And the reason that we're not putting the spices in with the brine is because if we did that, the spices wouldn't enter into the jars evenly. So we add them to the jars individually. So put in 2 cloves of garlic into each jar, along with 1/4 teaspoon crushed red pepper and 1/2 teaspoon of black peppercorns. And I don't add the dill at this point. I usually wait until the brine and the cucumbers have cooled down before adding that, just because I want the color to stay nice and bright and green. So now we've got the spices in the jar, so we're going to add the cucumbers. And we're going to want to fill this up until it's not quite to the top. We still want to have enough room for the brine to get in there, but we do want to press it down firmly so that we can get enough cucumbers in there. And that's enough for about 1/2 inch of headroom, so that's perfect. So now all the salt is dissolved in the brine, so we're just going to pour this over the top of the cucumbers. And we're going to want to stop about right there so we can leave about 1/2 inch of headroom for the pickles. And after this, all we do is put it in the refrigerator and let it sit until it's cool. So now that the cucumbers have cooled down, we are now going to add 2 tablespoons of dill. And if you don't have fresh dill, you can also use dill seed. Just use about 2 teaspoons of that instead. Now we screw on the top. Just shake it a little bit to mix it all up. Put this back in the fridge for about 2 to 3 hours, and then you'll start to be able to taste some of those pickle-like flavors. If you leave it in the fridge for a couple of days, they'll be perfect. You can leave your pickles in the fridge for about 2 weeks.